Big Mecha.
Hello and welcome to Big Mecha, but not huge. I am your host, Will. With me is a common occurrence. John, are you there?
God. Yeah, I just didn't realize you would take this really subtle and unsettling approach at the same time.
Yeah. Not a fan of that cadence.
It's different. We'll continue. God,
Okay,
Will, did you
so
lock up?
we have had a week. Let's see. What have you done that's mecha related this week, sir? Anything recently?
I was glad you remember. I'm like, you're not just diving in, are you? Not too much this week. This was a really kind of awkward week for
Oh,
me.
that sucks.
But the little bit of time that I did, I dedicated more time to Super Robot Wars, and
Yeah, that makes sense.
I think I put in at least 20 hours
Good
now. Good
Lord.
lord, that game is
Oh yeah,
massive,
you're nowhere
but
near. Good luck.
it's it's like I've done like multiple quests now where it's basically pulling me away from like the different random assortment that I get, and it's like, no, you have to do this one now. I'm like, I don't. I'm just let me finish the DLC, crap like that, because I want to be able to get all the different characters, and it's just like, no, you must do other things. That character may or may not show up, but it's on you. I'm like, all right. So I've been playing that, and then if I'm ever drafted onto PlayStation, I have been doing a minimal amount of time, not a whole lot, but a minimal to SD Gundam G Genesis, which is a mouthy title, but it's basically the same thing as like Super Robot Wars, same developers, I think.
Really?
But this time it's strictly just involving different Gundam series throughout the Universal Century,
Oh.
and how you can just play through key moments using SD versions of
Okay.
all these
I
different
think I saw the
craft and
demo
shit.
for that one. Yeah, it like sucks them into time vortexes and just slams all the series together.
No, that's just regular Super Robot Wars. The other one that you're thinking of is SD Gundam, the action RPG. That one does that particular thing where they're just randomly showing up on the field like that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, this one it's strictly just you pick whichever
Oh,
Universal
okay. You
Century
you pick
timeline thing
which
you
and
want to
then you
look at.
play
You
through the
do
big
specific
moments
moments.
at okay, yeah, I get. Okay, that makes sense. This isn't a
Yeah,
crossover. It's you're just playing all the fun spots. Okay,
exactly.
got it.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Like the
cool.
next thing that I got to do for 0079 is Ramba Rawl fight.
Sha.
So
It's no Zaku, I'll tell
but
you
yeah,
that.
that's that's pretty much everything that I've watched this week or done this week, mech related. Besides
Hmm.
Medabots and GquuuuuuX.
Mm, mm, all that clucking. But
You're not gonna make that a
I,
thing.
I
I'm telling you that
I
right
will
now.
force it. That I just the show will end. There will be a
We're
random
just gonna have a
fan art.
clip where it just says you saying "I will force it."
Oh,
And it's gonna
if
be fucking Team 4 Star going like, "Oh, that was said."
yeah, there's gonna dude. If you clip our podcast, there are so many moments where it's just we say a thing and then just pause. People were clipping this, we'd be in
Like,
trouble.
I can't
I'm not gonna
believe
get
you
a
just said
job.
that. Or yeah.
Although I work in IT, so they
Eventually,
might
that'd
just
be
find it
nice.
funny. But
But what about you? Have you done anything
so
mech related this week?
there is a game I've been playing called Gravity Circuit. You are a ninja robot essentially, but it plays and feels a whole lot like Mega Man X. It very much feels that way as I'm going through, complete with silly nods to other
Mm-hmm.
series. Like there was a one of the speedy ones, or the speedy one because they all have their thing. The speedy one
Mm-hmm.
literally says, "Let me show you my moves." During his speech that he does before you fight him in the boss fight, and I'm like, that's cute. I get it. I see what you did there.
Show me your moves.
But I
Yeah.
will say that same one, when you're going through, you're on a train, it's moving super fast for the second half of the stage. And when you get to that fight, the intro into it, I'm just gonna say that they on purpose made it feel like Slash Beast from Mega Man X4 because I really like Mega Man X4, and my brain was like, oh, I see what you did there. That's basically the entrance for this. He's gonna come swooping on the side and jump on the car. Yep, okay, cool. Long as we're all clear on what we're referencing. But that's been a
All
lot of
right then.
fun. I really do want to start. I picked up at a good deal the Grendizer Feast for Wolves. I wanted to start
Is that the
playing.
game
Yeah,
or?
the game, Grendizer Feast for Wolves. The
Ah, I didn't realize it was called Feast for Wolves. I just remember having a Grandizer just looking at at a field and he's being surrounded.
yeah, it's got a weird subtitle. I'm sure the subtitle makes sense if I was some sort of large fan of the show. It makes zero sense because I know nothing about that show or universe. So, hooray! But it looks like a fun kind of short little romp through the world of Grendizer where you play as Grendizer and run around like lasering and punching stuff to beat it and summoning a weapon out of nowhere and slapping stuff with it. So it looks
Mm,
super robot-y, 60s, 70s, that era. So looking forward to giving that a try, giving it a shot.
I hope you definitely do. I mean, there's a lot of cool different mech games out there, especially a lot of stuff based off of older material.
Those have been coming back pretty hard.
I've always wanted to try that one out. It's just I didn't see too many. What was it? Too many reviews. I think it actually came out roughly around the same time that Megaton Musashi was
I really
released.
want to play Megaton Musashi, but it's expensive. So I'm waiting for a
I'm
decent
sure.
deal. It'll come
Just,
back.
just, just wait for me. I'll let you know because I can get king of the deals on that
Yeah.
shit.
I did also do one more thing physical. They were having a
Yeah.
deal at my local Hobby Lobby, so I picked up an RG kit at like 40% off. It was marked up
Oh,
because
what
it's
one?
Hobby Lobby. So it's kind of physically large. It is the Gao Gaigar King of the Braves from the Gao Gaigar anime, and because it's an
No fucking way. They actually have it.
they still had them on the shelf if you're willing to pay the original price. Um,
No, but I'm just saying, like in
yeah,
general, I
no,
was just
it's
really surprised that Hobby Lobby
Hobby
would have that.
Lobby has become a place where they actually carry. It's all marked up, but they carry HG kits, RG kits, and master grade kits. Um, they have like a some sort of good deal with Bandai because they carry not just the robot shows, but they also have planes and they've got tanks and cars and other stuff that's just what I would call normal model kits that isn't based off of a anime or cartoon or whatever. They have a whole section of all
Hmm.
that stuff, and then they've got this 2 foot UC-79 master grade, the version 3 of the original Gundam, and then a couple of other ones. They have a couple of Gundam wing kits because they've been doing the push for those lately. And then they had the RG of the Gao Geiger, which, because it's
That sounds
RG,
really cool. I didn't know that they did those.
yeah, because it's RG, they also means that they actually modeled all of the pieces. So you can build the lion that turns into a man that then puts on all of the other pieces and becomes the giant robot, and you've got all of them in that kit scaled to each other. So it's a chunky
Oh
box
God.
and fairly heavy.
You see, that's what I was hoping for with the SSSS Gridman kits
Mm.
that were done, along with the Grid Knight and his little bird that he gets to
Hmm.
use. They did like it just didn't do the series a service. It just
Hmm.
they're really poorly designed. And granted, they can all combine and to do different things, but it's just like it didn't feel like that they put enough into it like you would the actual figures from long
Hmm.
ago. So it's just like,
Well, who made those
not too
model
much of a
kits?
fan of
Were they
that.
still Bandai and stuff, or were they some other company?
No, it wasn't Bandai. Shit,
Yeah, I
what
didn't
was it?
realize Bandai had the rights to Gal Gaigar for at least these, because Real Grade is the kit range that they've been doing all the Gundam stuff in. I didn't even know Real Grade had branched out into other anime, but apparently it has.
It was Good Smile.
Good smiles. I mean, they do Nendoroid and a couple of other things. A little surprised.
Yeah, I'll show pictures
Hmm.
later because these things just were not it. I honestly, this is why I'm starting to like slowly go away from model kits back into regular figures again because I'm like, at least these things are
Oh,
detailed.
on that note, just a heads up. They're still releasing stuff in the Gundam Universe line of action figures, which are fucking awesome. They look really cool. They're doing, you have Wing Gundam Zero and Epion both coming out in that series soon.
I saw
They
that. I
look,
also saw that there are
Epion
some
looks
new Funkos that are coming
amazing.
out
They
too.
look so cool because for that line, they stylize them a little bit and then they pick really cool colors, like not just primary pop color, like they will pick slightly off, make it like a little darker, and then give it a good shine, it looks really cool for being just
These
action
look like
figures.
that they were like straight up ripped out from the screen.
Yeah,
They look really
the
cool.
Gundam Universe line I highly recommend if you're interested in those shows. They've done, I don't know if you can find them anymore, but they did all five Gundams from Wing, Tall Geese, Leo. They fucking all of them. They look really cool.
But did you see the new Funkos for
I
Gundam
haven't
Wing?
done Ares. I want Ares, but
So they just did Wing Zero, Epion. I think there's one
Death
more. I
Scythe,
think it might be Death Scythe.
which was a weird
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. That's a weird 1, 2, 3. Like I get Epion and
I
Wing.
mean, what you
Those
should
those
do.
two make sense, but having like the original Death Scythe be the other third one you pick is so
I
random. It
know.
doesn't make sense to me.
I know. What they should do is they should just do all the pilots first. Where it's the original five, and then make
And then,
Zack's like a special one that
yep,
you can
like a
get.
limited chase or some
Then you
shit.
start, yeah, and then you do the five, and then you do the different series of like the different five Gundams plus Tall Geese,
Yep.
different five Gundams, and then he didn't do Tall Geese too, but he might as well. And
Well, they
then
could do
the
Trays
next
as
five, which
another
would be
like
Endless Waltz and Do It
super,
Under. Yeah,
not like a chase rare, but you could do Trays as a convention
like a Comic
exclusive
Con
or
rare.
Comic Con or some crap
Yeah.
because they do that. Then you could make Trays that, and people would lose their minds over it because Trays would be the hard one to find and was a very popular character. Honestly, in writing, I
Yep.
really like how Trays is built. He's weird, and he's not a villain, he's an antagonist because as pretty and weird as Wing is, it actually writes most of its characters pretty well, except Relena, she's trash. But that's because they didn't know what to do with her.
Wow.
I just,
Everyone just dogpiles on
but
Rolina, and I'm like, I see her echo in so many other shows, but it makes sense.
so Relena works as a plot device, but they never let her become a character, and they have to pull so much plot armor to keep her alive. It's kind of stupid. She
You
literally,
mean like the movie?
not even the movie. Which the movie, okay, fine, that counts too. But the fucking show, she's in a limo and a Virgo shoots at her car. It hits the hood of the car, doesn't destroy it. It just knocks it out, and then the vehicle stops. And I'm like, oh, come the fuck on. Are you shitting me? The gun unmounted to that Virgo, maybe you could pull it back. You're still going to vaporize the front of the car. Her car isn't made out of stronger metal than a fucking giant walking tank, and it melts through
I don't know,
those.
man. Gundanium alloy being used anywhere and everywhere
Yeah,
these
I
days.
mean, just it. The place was lousy with it, you know.
I mean, back when I was creative and didn't realize how stupid I was, I, I thought, the world's gonna end soon. Let's go ahead and write instructions on how to build a Gundam. So the very first thing I wrote
Oh, this
was,
should be
if
good.
anybody manages to find Gundanium parts, please use these instructions in order to build a gun. And I just fucking wrote down what he had for the goddamn model kits.
That's awesome. That's great.
It's so
That
bad.
is so
After the
fucking
first one, I got
good.
like halfway through. I'm like, you know what? This is dumb.
So, okay, we say that, but and as much as I complain about plot armor, so there's a character in Robotech, right? His name
Which
is
one?
Max. He is so fucking broken that he literally laughs when someone tries to assassinate him in a, oh, that's adorable kind of way. He does not take it seriously, and all he does is win. He's like Charlie Sheen on Tiger Blood. Anywho, the
Jesus.
Max is broken. He is like Kira, but without needing to try and without the emotional trauma. He has the emotional range of an actual living adult and can handle things. And so
Hmm.
I I do like him. He's fun, but my favorite character in Wing will always be Lucrezia Noin. She is broken as shit.
Oh, knowing
She
is amazing.
she she holds herself back in the fucking movie piloting a 3 generation old suit, and all that happens is like an arm gets fucked up. How fucking broken as a pilot do you have to be to essentially, to put this in car terms, she was in a go-kart and Formula One cars were just dancing around her, and she's like, whatever. her
Yeah,
boyfriend is in a
yeah,
brand new, just plotted up to hell version of the tall geese. And even he is like having to try, and it's like, if you just gave knowing your suit, you could probably just drink some tea and watch everyone die.
yeah. But then we wouldn't get knowing for the movie.
No, I mean
So
he could let knowing just win. He could just sit there and wait. Be like, all right, so we're just
yeah, but
gonna
I'm
let my
saying
girlfriend do everything.
because the plot dictates that she would have died
No, 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 she
anyway.
would have been fine. None of the Gundam Wing is bad about killing off characters. It rarely does it, and I think it only fakes it out like twice. Almost the entire main cast lived through the entire show. Wing is not one of his. It's not one of the ones where he leaned in and went, "You need
Not
to
from
murder
lack
them
of
all."
trying,
Oh no!
though.
Like I said, they plot armored Relena so hard her car survived a giant laser cannon attack, and she was fine. So,
Yeah,
so they plot armor everyone really, really, really badly. Fucking Hero gets what? This was the dumbest fucking thing, and it worked because I was a stupid child.
he suicide or sorry, unalive himself
Oh,
like
you could.
or tried to like
Well,
within the very
he
first episode.
stood on the cockpit and went. He's essentially the guy you don't tell, oh yeah, what are you gonna do? Blow up the robot? He will. What are you gonna do?
He's the wild
Yeah,
card.
no, he is he's that guy. Don't give him ideas. He doesn't have the layer of, but is this a good idea? He never asks that. He just goes, oh, that'll get me to my objective quicker. Cool. He's basically rocket jump guy. He's that guy. He would be rocket jumping across the entire stage until he couldn't walk anymore, but he wouldn't care because he got to where he needed to
That
go.
is true.
So
Yeah,
he
that is very
wakes
true.
himself up, quote unquote, by not raising his brain waves. That's not how brains work. He's fucking human. You can't fool a brainwave thing. It's That's not how human bodies work. You I don't give a shit what weird ass training he has. You can't not think and it that's not how humans work.
Yeah, but will anime.
I know. It's the only reason that works. Wing is wild for
Yeah.
many reasons, and this is only some of them. Gundam Wing is great. It's insane, but it's great.
It's really funny because like talking with people about it, they're like, "Oh yeah, I remember Wing. Wing was great, but it's just it doesn't hold up to everything that I've seen since then."
Yeah,
And
I get that.
like I've been watching different articles pop up because now my phone is finally understanding who I am,
The
and
robot finally
it's giving
gets
me
it.
a bunch of different. Right, the robot understands. He likes robots.
Oh.
It's finally giving me like different articles involving like mecha stuff and Gundam. But the one thing that keeps popping up across different sites for different reasons is that maybe Wing isn't the one that we should look down on. I'm like, well, no shit.
So Wing wasn't bad. People are just, it's that thing where people essentially got worried. Well, one, people need stuff to talk about, and trashing anything immediately gets you clicks. Two, people were doing that thing where they're like, oh, it's probably nostalgia. That's why, I like this show so much, and I acknowledge that. That shit's in my top five forever. Fine, don't care. It's
Hmm.
higher than the original show. Doesn't matter. I like it. Actually, it is higher than the original. The original show is very good, but just Gundam top five, 8th MS Team would be up there, probably at number two, because it's one of the best depictions and actually gets across war sucks better than pretty much any other Gundam franchise thing they've made. Even 0080 doesn't really do it because it's too short. 8th MS Team is long enough that you really, really get to know the characters and you get a wide range of viewpoints. So the one thing Tomino was trying to communicate, I think they got right with 8th MS Team, and they keep like almost getting there with other shows.
So back to the topic at hand, Gundam Wing.
Gundam Wing hit its 30th anniversary, so everybody's talking about it again. It's super popular. Wing is not
Wait, how old did you
30
say?
years. That's Wing came out in the 90s, boy. You okay? You all right? We didn't
Uh,
get it until like 4 years after it came out. We're talking about the official like original Japanese release was in the 90s.
yeah, it came out in '95 original, I think,
Yeah,
right?
and we got it in like 97, I think, 98.
Right, because after Colony 195, that makes
Mm-hmm.
sense. Okay.
Yeah, how do you feel?
And then we didn't get it until like 99,
Yeah,
2000.
how you feeling? You all right? You good?
God, that puts it in the right age range, but I hate it so much.
I know. Oh, it's great.
Oh,
I love looking up video games now and then going, oh, that was 5 years ago, and then being like, God, I am such an adult. I look at that and I'm like, that's not that long ago. And then I'm like, wait,
Yeah, Devil May Cry 5,
yeah,
motherfucker.
when did that come out?
I think about 5 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah, I feel fucking old.
Dude, Final Fantasy 16 is already a year old.
Jesus
Rebirth
Christ.
just hit a year old.
God. Okay, time passes too quickly. Welcome to adulthood. But Gundam
Yeah.
Wing at 30 years old.
This is why we encapsulate everything in a
Yep.
podcast.
Gundam Wing is 30 years old this year, and they're doing stuff. You know what they're not doing? Printing the show. Not going to talk. It fucking whatever.
You know who has copies of those printed shows?
Japan.
Myself!
True. Okay, so I looked a little more into that because I was annoyed, and my brain was like, okay, there has to be a reason. So, Gundam, a big mecha franchise, signed a deal with Right Stuff when they existed to print a Blu-ray release of the original show, which they did. It did so well that Sunrise was like, "Hey, you guys want the rest?" And Right Stuff was like, "Yes, we love money. Just keep sending it our way." So they just got rights to print pretty much every. They just went down the line, and every couple months they drop another Blu-ray or a DVD, and then like a year later they would hit the Blu-ray. And they did that, and then this thing happened where Sony decided to be the only force on both sides of the ocean for anime, and they bought Crunchyroll. Then they bought Right Stuff and Funimation. Then they merged all three things into one, and that basically immediately killed all the deals that Right Stuff had because Right Stuff no longer exists. There is conjecture that at some point after they've burned through like their stock of Right Stuff things, they will start printing Crunchyroll. Like, oh, okay, now we're gonna do a deal. We're gonna have Crunchyroll, and then Crunchy will start printing these things. But who knows? And if they do, they might start over at the beginning again and like slowly get around to all of those other shows. But who knows? They may not do that at all, and we might be in another cold, empty era of no physical media for Gundam. Who knows?
That's why it looks like that Crunchy is trying to sell a lot of their collectible stock.
They're
They
discounting
have the
hard.
entirety of Code Geass,
Hmm.
which includes the original show. It includes the movies, including the fourth movie. I believe they're all steelbooks too.
Yeah.
And they have it all in this giant box set. It comes with a bunch of other cool stuff. Normally that goes on sale. I mean, normally that's on a really high price to begin with. I think it's more than $300.
Wow.
Hang on. Code Geass Complete Series. There we go. You can only get it on Crunchyroll. Ah, there we go.
Mm.
$400. Yeah. That's actually 400 on sale.
Yeah, it's like
Its
six,
normal price is
550. Yeah.
550.
No, there's speaking of
Yeah.
Gal Gaigar, they have on sale right now for like $80. You can get Gal Gaigar the anime and Gal Gaigar Final, which was the OVA that like finished out the story and stuff, and also crossed it, I think, with Better Man a little. I might be wrong about that. That might be a different OVA. Point is, the two Blu-rays for that show in America you can get for like $80 total, which is the original price of just the Gal Gaigar anime by itself. So,
Yeah, because I see King of Braves Gal Gaigar is currently on sale at
like,
Crunchy for $60 when it's normally
and
80.
then you can get the other show for 20, which is normally like 40, I think, something like that, 30.
Mm-hmm.
So you put them together for $80, you can get both, which is a pretty good deal. But they have like Escaflowne right now. Speaking of shows that may be going away, Escaflowne, you can get the show still on Crunchy and on Amazon and stuff. But the movie is looks like it's no longer through Amazon as a first party. It's only through other sellers on Blu-ray. So
Ooh,
it might be we might be starting to come to the end of stock for some of these things that were
of like all the Funimation stuff that
because
they
that's the
have.
other thing. Not only do they want to burn through Right Stuff's backlog, they probably want to burn through the Funimation stuff because both of those companies basically don't exist. So before
Mm-hmm.
anything new happens and Crunchy like really leans in and just absolutely destroys everyone else, they probably are trying to do that because I've noticed Crunchy, their website has like nothing. Their store is empty compared to Right Stuff, and they bought Right Stuff, which doesn't make sense logically. You're not going to just sit on all this physical stuff you purchased, you're going to get rid of it. But if all they've been doing is
They've been
sales,
getting rid of a lot of it through
and they
sales, yeah.
haven't been restocking, then that means that they are trying to be lean and trying to burn through all this other stuff before they go doing anything new. I'm hoping that the fact that Crunchy is now the one-stop shop means translates to other stuff going forward. However, Funimation kind of screwed around and fucked with a lot of stuff. They had weird
Yeah,
releases
you
for
think?
physical
Mm-hmm.
media. They completely screwed a bunch of people over with digital stuff they had purchased. They never talked about it. They got bought by Sony and then they still don't talk about it. All that shit's gone. So and they still, I think, haven't fully moved over even the entire library to Crunchyroll. More stuff is on there. I noticed several shows appeared in the last like 6 months that weren't there a year ago, but it's taking them so long to essentially copy paste files onto a server and then add a UI. Like I don't know what's going on, but I assume it's a rights and like stupid legal stuff that they're just hashing this all out and it's taking a long time to get around to it.
Well, it's also along the same bullshit that I dealt with when it came to Funimation not having my digital copies,
A
and I
lot of
could
people
tell
had
like
that
after a
happen.
certain time. Oh yeah,
That was real
I
bad.
raised some hell about that too.
You honestly, if enough
um,
people did it, there is a chance that somebody could have been like, "How about we all just do the shitty thing and sue Funny?" Because at that point, they lied and they did not do what they were supposed to. Like, yes, you're licensing, but whatever, you don't own it, blah blah blah. But you paid them, and then they just lost your
oh
shit.
yeah,
So it's like, where the fuck's
I
my money?
took pictures of it. Like whenever I saw stuff just like being not there, like the Berserk anime, the one that a lot of people don't like. I got that specifically because it had a digital copy to it,
Yep, and
and
it didn't.
I added the digital copy. It didn't show up. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There was a lot of stuff on there that didn't show that it had specific seasons, even though
Hmm.
I bought the entire season.
Yep.
It wouldn't show up on my account that way. Like, stuff would just randomly be missing. And I'm like, there's no reason for this. I'm glad that I have physical, but good lord, I shouldn't have to if it gives you the option to do that.
Yeah, and there were people who specifically purchased the digital versions because that was an option. You don't even have to buy the physical, and they lost it.
Well, for a long time, you were able to buy
Hmm.
digital. You weren't able to after a while. You could only get them through the codes.
Hmm.
Now, basically, if you have anything Crunchy or Funimation worthy that you were able to purchase before, you can still purchase now through other streaming sites like Vudu, Apple, Amazon,
Hmm.
etc. But anything that they offered strictly as physical rather than any kind of digital thing, gone.
Yep. Yeah. And it's kind of just really annoying and really shitty behavior. But because Sony is so effing massive, there's basically nothing you can do because this is, again, all behind closed doors stupid stuff. This is companies
Yep.
making decisions of what to do with quote unquote their property. And the answer sometimes is to do nothing, and they just sit on it. And you're like, you're dragon hoarding. Why are you dragon hoarding? You're not making anything.
Yep.
I don't
That's
understand
essentially it.
why I I don't understand the exceptional level of greed and arrogance that it takes to say I have to make this either to give an exact number and say I have to make this much to bother going forward, or I have to make all of the money, which is a thing Disney does, and I cannot allow anyone else to profit from this. Like why? What do you mean? 95% of the money goes to you, 5% goes to someone else, and you'll still say no just because you can't allow anyone else to make anything? Like, why do you need to be that greedy? What the hell? You're still making. Here's how math works: any number above zero is a number. You make nothing, and I don't see how that helps you rather than making something.
Well, I got an answer. You
Yeah.
ready? Corporate bigwig walks in, looks at you, points at you, says "fuck you," walks out. They get a check.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was talking at work about how Joanne did nothing wrong. I know that's a meme in the Gundam thing, but Joanne Fabric did nothing wrong as a company. They got bought and basically got closed down. An entire retail chain died so that some stupid company that does holding and finance could make money off of buying them for basically nothing, then close them down, sell everything, and continue to make money. They're literally killing an actively positive brand with people working for it just so they can turn a buck. That's stupid. The fact that it's even a thing you can do is stupid, and the fact that we're all just like the industry is like, no, no, that's fine. That's exactly how business should work. You should be successful, get purchased, get run into the ground, and then sold off for parts. What? How does that even make sense?
Don't get me started on that because all that's gonna do is lead me down a giant thing that I don't want to get
You
into.
don't want to talk about the gaming industry and how they do that too?
Or corporations in
Yeah,
general.
just a bunch of
You know,
stupid shit.
that's what I had to flee in order to get to my current position. So yes.
Yeah, it's stupid. But on a more positive note, did you know that episode 2 makes a bunch of interesting choices for GquuuuuuuX?
GquuuuuuuX, like croissant,
What, like what?
like croissant.
Ooh, that's actually pretty good. I like that. That's nice.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I like that.
See? Yeah, glad you took it. But yes, episode 2. Good fucking lord. So, let me preface this by saying, no matter what, it's still a very good episode.
Well, yes, there are
It's
choices.
missing a
So
lot.
it's kind of like they made the episode, got to the last 5 minutes, and went, "Oh, we totally are going to have to do another episode." And then somebody in the back went, "We don't have the budget for that, but we could just chop up the movie." Ah, no, 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 we don't have the budget for that. Okay, I guess we'll just hit fast forward. There you go. That's thinking.
I'm expecting us to be getting another char based thing later on where they cut out more. All that stuff that was cut out from
They
the movie
just
will end
drop
up
in.
as another episode at some point. I don't see it being like the first 5
No,
episodes like we
no,
were
no,
initially led to
no, no.
believe.
We're gonna get episode 3 is gonna be the fight. Episode 4 is gonna be brand new. They're gonna be done with the movie episode 3 because of how much they sliced out of that. They cut like 20 minutes of the movie completely out.
They really did, and it was all really compelling
But
shit
there's
too.
two major reveals that now I'm questioning if we should talk about, but they put it in a fucking movie, so it's out there.
I mean, we already talked about it
We
in the
did,
movie,
so it's
yeah.
out there. They completely sliced out
Yeah.
Cassilia, not Cassilia. God, um, di- oh God, too many.
Sayla.
I was gonna call her by her real name, but yeah, they cut out Sayla, and then they cut out what was the other major point? Oh, they cut out the fact that Shar is still Shar from the original show, despite everything he does,
Mm.
because the way that they cut this is the way that Xeon would have played it, where they didn't know he was 100% trying to off the family in charge so that he could take over. They didn't talk about that at all. He legitimately wanted to destroy the moon base, which would knock out Castilia, and then go back and get like Giran and a couple of the others and then take over. He wanted to do that. That was what he was trying to do.
Right, they didn't go
When
into
they
any of
didn't
that
talk
at
about
all.
that at all, they didn't mention that that's a thing. They just go and then Shar
The only
mysteriously
thing that they
perished.
slightly alluded to was him having his man crush with with Shalia
Okay,
Bull.
so that's clearly a one-sided thing. It's definitely a Shalia just having them stars in his eyes for Shar, which,
I
and I'm
know.
okay with that, but I would also totally be fine with Shar just walking up and like throwing his arm around his waist at halfway through the show and just being like, "Hey Shalia, how's it going?" And I'll be like, "You know what? You earned that."
You never stopped looking for me, did
Yeah,
you?
no, he didn't. That man is
Or
dedicated.
or
Whew.
they hired David Hayter just for this line because it kept you waiting, huh?
Out of all the fucking people to voice a 17-year-old ace pilot, David Heater.
Yeah.
Yeah, 17,
Just for that one
18
line too, not
scotches
for
deep.
anything else.
Yeah.
Or don't even hire him. Just get one of those fucking library samples of that where he goes,
No,
"Kept
no,
you
no.
waiting,
Just
huh?"
they'll go on Cameo. That's how we're gonna do voice acting in the future. We're just gonna go on Cameo and pay for 6 lines and just do it like 5 or 6 lines at a time.
Honestly, that would probably be more preferable compared to what they're already dealing with now. But yes,
Yeah, the whole that's a whole thing. But the
yeah,
yeah, that would be
this is the very
interesting.
topical episode,
God, I
guys.
don't know why we're doing this. What kind? This isn't even an off-topic episode.
No, but anyways, yeah, it does happen to be omitting quite a bit. Did it also feel like that the budget between the movie
So
stuff and what was
what?
clearly made for the show seemed really different?
Okay, so two things with that. One, the movie does have a higher budget. That's just how TV works. But so far,
Mm-hmm.
everything on our screen has technically been in the movie. It just looks worse. And I think it's a compression thing because we're watching it streaming off of a website. So, like, it's got to be, to
Mm.
me, it has to be a streaming compression thing because Jesus Christ, this was gorgeous when we watched it in the theater. Like, it was
Oh,
amazing.
absolutely, it
It looked
was.
so good. Even when it switched styles, it didn't drop in quality. It just changed the style, and you felt like you changed your channel. You still had the same. people
Right.
doing it, the same team, just as high quality. It just looks different now, and that's fine. But like it weirdly doesn't look as good as the movie. So I think that's probably, I'm taking guesses, one of those things that's just sorry you're streaming it. So, there are things that happen, compression and bitrate and blah blah blah, and just all of this layers on. And like if you ran a Blu-ray, you would be running a dedicated file and there'd be nothing in between you, so it would run higher, which would make it look better.
I've always been told that actual disc quality things are way better than what you can get
Even
streaming,
DVD
so
beats
that makes
streaming
sense.
sometimes, depending on where you're streaming from. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
I that's
Well,
that's
good
my
to know.
guess because it's weird knowing how this could look, and I'm like, look, my TV isn't as good as a projector, but or a movie theater projector, but come on, there's got to be
But
something
it
else
ain't
there. Well,
shabby.
yeah, it's
Right.
there's got to be something else affecting like the my brain's perception of the quality. Like they didn't drop frames. They
Right.
didn't purposely remove them to make the show look worse. Like that didn't happen. They're just cut and pasting
I
editing.
would say let's try and do comparison shots, but of course they don't have that movie released digitally or
Oh, I don't
physically
even know
yet,
if they're
so.
going to because I mean, they haven't done this before. They've never, with Gundam, they will do like Unicorn was fully released as like 7 movies over the course of like 8 years before they started chopping it up and they turned it into an anime. They haven't made a movie that then goes the other way that they chop into a show. They haven't done that direction before, as far as I'm aware. I mean, they did like 30 years
Nope.
ago, but as far as I'm aware,
Like they've
not
done
at all.
prequel TV, spots,
Yeah.
like what they did with Witch from Mercury, but that's
Yeah,
about
and
it.
that's not the same thing. So it's like they haven't done this is the DBZ approach. They're literally doing what Super did, where they take a movie, cut it up, and then add interstitial things and then go forward from there. So it's weird. Gundam hasn't
Hmm.
done this before. There's a lot in this that I'm going to be honest, Gundam hasn't done before. Does not feel very like it's Gundam, but it's wild new lens.
Wild Newlands. I think that's where we should all emigrate to.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's still a good episode. The whole point of this one is that you're getting Char's quote unquote flashback for this
Yeah,
particular
technically.
series, where he's the one who's in charge of the Gundam, which has a different face. But he ends up taking over what Amuro would have been. He's still a Zeon,
Oh, 100%.
soldier. Goes in and ends up taking the place of Jean instead of Denim, which I only just recently found out Jean and Denim. Come
Yeah.
on.
Hey man,
Um,
anime names have always been top notch, top score.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I can't
Hmm.
believe it took me that
Yeah,
long to
I
realize it.
know.
Um, but he ends up replacing Gene, and he ends up basically just being the one who takes down the colony, takes down all of the
Hmm.
Federation using their own Gundam, which twists and turns in ways that could make you squeal in some ways, I
Oh, I
guess. But
really
oh
like
man,
in the fight when he spins the head 180 and then slowly swivels the suit
yeah,
with it. I'm like, thank you. I love when you use. It's one of the few things they rarely do with robots in anything. They tend to make them just people, but it's a big metal robot. And it's like, that's cool.
hmm,
But it's also really cool when you animate a robot as a robot and you do weird stuff like that. Like if you stand behind someone with a robot arm and that arm just like twists unnaturally and like grabs them by the neck and then they just calmly swivel their torso and it's like yeah they can do that. They don't have a real arm. They don't have bones and tendons. It just does that.
exactly,
One of the things I really enjoyed about
yeah,
Godzilla, the uh the Godzilla versus Kong movie, was Metal Godzilla, the big mecha version for that film, moves like a robot, not like an animal and not like a person. Like it legitimately moves inhumanly and like creepily because it's an effing robot. And it was
hmm,
really neat seeing that because it's animated against very bioorganic stuff, Godzilla and Kong. So it was fun seeing that interplay.
it really was. So guys, remember when you're thinking of GquuuuuX, think of Godzilla versus Kong.
Yes. Yeah, yes. You're welcome. Look, man, stuff just is related in my brain.
Yeah, speaking of
Yeah.
relations, let's go ahead and
That
talk about
look,
Medabots.
hold on. I don't say that's Big Mecha After Dark. That's not this one.
I don't know, man. After that last batch that we had, where we had that fucking psycho stalker Medabot, yeah, about
I mean,
that.
speaking of this round has kidnapping in it. Just straight up kidnapping.
All right, let's get into this here and now. So first things first, these batch of episodes weren't bad except for one. I don't know if it's going to be different for you and me, but
Hmm,
the really bad one was the last
the
episode we
French one.
watched. Yeah.
It's that. Speaking of kidnapping, that episode.
Why do you have to? Yeah, I was about to say why do you got to classify it like that? Oh, it's that fucking French
Because it's
episode, you
called the
motherfucker.
French Deception, and there are three people called Jean-Luc, Jean-Guy, and Jean something else. I think, yeah, I forget John. They all had Jean in the front of their
He's
name.
not wrong.
But
It's about as bad as G Gundam when it comes to
oh, it's
stereotypes.
rough. It's look, they show off the people from other countries, and it's like, how hard can we stereotype? They're from Mexico, so
Oh, let's just immediately
yeah,
go to
they're
Mexico.
from
Yeah.
Mexico. They have straight up like super thick mustaches. They're all wearing ponchos and sombreros. They they're three
They have
yeah,
mariachi
all three of
guitars.
their robots are cactus themed, and I don't know if it was a
Nope.
subtitle, but they called them Tequila Bots, like Tequila Trio.
No, I didn't
I
hear
didn't hear
that.
it either, which makes me curious if the subtitle's based off of like the Japanese or something, because sometimes the subtitle doesn't line up for the show. So I think this is one of those like,
So okay,
hmm
about that, I wrote this down for every time that I
hmm
saw it. The World Robabble Cup.
it's the finest '90s Photoshop. Okay.
Okay, I'm glad
Oh,
I'm not the only one who
oh no,
noticed
I
that.
looked at it, I was like, oh, you literally had the same people who do those like those in-betweens. Exact same team did this.
Yeah, it looks
It
so
looks so
jarring. Oh
bad.
my
Which I don't
god.
understand because I feel like in the Japanese it wasn't composed of a bunch of kanji. I think it was just like three letters. So I don't know why they had to completely redo it. Like and you even could have left the Japanese letters because, newsflash, this takes place in Japan. It's like the Olympics being in Japan. They probably moved them
Don't
every
forget
four
who
years.
Icky and the others represent Team
Japan. Like
Japan.
you could have just left it alone, and I'm pretty sure it's hard to tell because they change it when you can see it, but like when it's really far in the background, they just leave it alone. So I think it still
Like
had like,
original Pokemon for
yeah,
kids
I
did it
think it's
better.
like WRC were still there, so I don't know why they felt the need to go so hard on it. You could have just left it alone and saved the money because that cost money, especially back then.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So we're jumping around a
So,
lot. We completely skipped the first episode.
well, the first episode annoyed me. It was still better than the last one, but it still annoyed me. And the
Oh,
reason it annoyed
hmm.
me
I
was strictly
okay. I
because
assumed
of the
you were
dub
gonna get
order.
really mad about this episode for several reasons.
Well, first
First off,
off,
hmm
yes.
oh no, there was another. Okay, so that thing that you really don't like, Metabee did a lot in these four episodes, and I was like, oh, he's gonna be stewing.
Okay, the one at the end of this one, episode 39, Heavy
Hmm.
Metal, which is metal
Yep,
with a D.
Medolt.
Um, which also makes no sense compared,
I don't know
to
why it's
anything else
called
that
that.
goes
It
on in the
doesn't make any
episode.
sense. Oh, because music, because the band.
Oh
That's
my
it.
god,
Yeah, it's
so
just a
dumb.
play on
All right,
heavy metal, the genre of music.
I
That's
get
it.
it now. I get
It
it. I
is.
hate it.
It's dumb.
Um, so he does his little catchphrase at the end of the episode, but he does it
Every single time.
differently to where I didn't hate it.
Huh, really?
Yeah,
When
he
he's
did it
doing the
completely differently. I
metaphors
don't
and
know
he's
if it was
throwing out
because,
puns based on metaphors and saying stuff, you didn't like hate it every time?
well, he did a whole bunch of different things, but he split it
Hmm.
up, and it's because it wasn't like just dude I rock. He didn't even get the full
Hmm.
dude out. He just like I rock, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm like, okay, I can kind of dig this one a little bit.
Nice.
The other thing that I'm
Uh-huh.
mad about, again, because it's the dub
Oh
order,
yeah. No.
and also because they apparently don't know what
Oh
they were
yeah.
doing. Even if they were to do
Uh-huh.
it in order, I like apparently the next one is where we're supposed to see enter
Holy
Rentaro,
crap.
which was episode 31. This one we just watched is episode 30.
That's how far.
It was
Okay, I
14 on
knew
the
it was far
disc.
back because a few things happened. One, I called about like 3 or 4 minutes in. They're like, it's Cyan Dog centric, and I was like, oh, I bet this is the Crosser Dog like actual episode where they bring it up where he becomes Crosser Dog, and it was. But
Yes, but let's not forget that it was like episode 14 where it's like, oh, he's Crosser
yeah,
Dog now.
they just
What?
in the English release, he's just not to mention at the end of this episode, the freaking ninjas show up and they're like, "What weird Medabots?" And I'm like, "Icky, you have faced those bots like 5 times. This makes zero sense." He
Yep.
literally fought
It
one
was
of them
just
on a bridge like 6
I
episodes ago. God.
I really want to know if they had intended on going the original route that the show
And
was
then like something
created.
weird
If
happened
they were
and they like
going,
couldn't get the episodes or like something wasn't shipping right.
well, either that or like fucking like maybe one of the episodes, they maybe have seen like a lost in viewership or loss
Hmm.
in viewership in Japan, so they figured might as well just try to cover it up in some way by expansively imploding the
Oh,
plot left and
heavily.
right until it's like 20
Completely
episodes
like
deep.
destroying any sense of like if you were watching this week to week, you would have been confused because you would have been like,
Yeah.
"Wait, didn't they already talk to those guys?" Your brain would have been like, "Why are they talking so weird?"
Instead, you get to listen to two unknown people on YouTube
That's
and
right.
other
We
sites
will
fucking complaining about it for you.
we will be filled with righteous anger at people who were just doing their jobs and trying to make their way in the world. How dare they?
I wouldn't say it's righteous. We're not very godly
Yeah,
people.
well, that's fair.
Anyways,
But no, it's just
um,
confusing, and this episode is really bad at it. I will say that this
it's rife
episode
with
got
it.
one
Oh my
thing
god,
across that I really liked. So
which was
I like how pure Spike is. I like that his character kind of always is that. Yeah, he's an idiot, and it's really easy to talk him into stuff, but he's always just really liked Cyan Dog, really liked having a Medabot. He has no idea what he's doing. He just is nice and means well. They kind of play with it a little where he was like gonna replace Cyan Dog, but they never show him buy the medal. They never show him have the medal. And then they played like fast and loose with like whether he was really going to completely abandon him. Because what makes more
right.
sense and what they kind of showed and how he's been written the whole time is that he would have been really sad. He would have purchased the brand new meta parts and been like, man, I really wish Cyan Dog was here so I could give him the new body. And he would still have bought it because
Hmm.
he loves Medabots and that's just his thing. But he would have been like sad and carrying it around and stuff because he didn't have it. Also, side note, I really like that it's just normal in their world for these gigantic things to come in massive blister packs. It's goofy as
Yeah,
shit, but
it's
it's so
wild. They
fucking
they
cool.
basically is like, here's your toy, but it's not a toy. It's a fucking
It's like
mechanized unit that
how
can
much do
destroy
these things
everything.
weigh? Like 60 pounds of metal? So fucking
All
big.
these kids are fucking
I day,
jacked.
man. Look, Japan is much more serious about physical fitness, okay, than America. So we
They
think it's
really are.
wild, but these kids must be pumping iron at the gym, all right? You got to be a meta fighter, not a meta loser. So
Like, wow.
we only allow meta winners in
Wow.
here. Uh,
I'm gonna edit that out.
no, you should bleep me with the guitar sound effect from Medabots.
I might if I can find it. Um.
uh,
So yeah, this episode it was kind of one note. I mean, it was
yeah,
just the
it
same
was.
thing. Which, granted, it was exactly what you are
Hmm?
expecting out of it. But to be fair, again, it also wasn't the worst one of the
No,
bunch. Even though it had a lot
yeah.
of issues, as an episode, still
Also,
not
as an
bad.
episode with animation, because they really wanted to like get across quote unquote emotion, they actually animated a bunch of the scenes really nicely. So like it looks good for the art style that it is and stuff. It looks smooth and it's nice to watch.
Yeah, it doesn't randomly go into the random movie animation that you didn't expect in that
That
one episode, and then just to have it
I have
suddenly
no
go
idea
back.
how, but
Which, by the way, they play that animation
yeah,
in the
I
fucking
really want
intro.
to know who did that because it changes style so hard, and then just the next episode goes right back. Like only that one episode. I'm like, who did that? Who did that episode in particular? Because I have suspicions, but I don't know if any of them are true. But like, who worked on that
I don't
one?
know, man.
Because feels uncredited, feels like somebody was in their intern phase and they were like, you can just do this episode. It has nothing to do with the plot and we don't really care. And they're like, cool, doing it. And that's why there's more still images and
So,
stuff in that episode to save money on the scenes they couldn't afford.
just to harp on some things that I thought was a little bit where you wouldn't really
Hmm,
care, but then just I don't know. I don't know what I'm trying to
okay,
say here.
use
Um,
your words.
just to go over a couple things. Fuck you. The ref coming in
Oh,
as
the
a
drill
giant
was
drill.
great. That was his entrance is because we're going into the tournament. They're not there anymore, but I loved the drill. It was so stupid. You can see the
Hmm.
little string on his chin, just holding it onto his head. He spins, comes out of the ground, and almost falls over because he's so dizzy. Oh, it was so silly.
We also get to see the Chicken Man again, the chicken
Oh,
seller,
no.
who I guess at some point he just recently decided that he's not going to actually sell the chicks anymore, and he's actually just
Oh,
soliciting
100%. He
information
is
and
just giving out
advice.
advice. He is just the sagely old chicken man. This episode has two chicken people, though.
It's the same
No.
guy.
There is the chicken man,
You
and then
sure?
there is Samantha cosplaying the chicken man with a voice changer.
Oh, wait. Yeah, you're right.
It
That was
was. I
weird.
was like, wow, that's surprising.
And then she goes, "How did you know it was me?" I'm like,
That's a
"I
good
don't fucking
question.
know
I thought it was
either."
the chicken.
I thought he was just saying boss just because, oh, yeah, hey,
Yeah,
what's up,
no, I
boss? But
thought
no,
that. And
it's
then
been because he
she
calls
pulls
Samantha
off the hat.
boss.
How did I know it was me? And I'm like, holy shit, that was Samantha? What the fuck? I didn't. Okay, didn't expect that.
uh, it managed to pull some moments out from the
Hmm.
rug where you're like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, I
yeah.
can give it. The one thing that I thought was really funny, but also kind of tragic at the
Mm.
same time, Cyan Dog in general, with him thinking of his worth
So
related to
they were
Spike.
doing which is a classic anime thing where a character's like, I'm not good enough, so I must leave. And then they leave and they're like, how can I go
They
back?
do that for fucking American media
I
too.
left, how
So
can I go back? And it's like, okay, you're just looking for reasons to punish yourself. That's all that is. And Cyan Dog wanting Spike to be better and thinking that he's the problem, I get. But there are many things contributing to Spike not being a good meta fighter. One of them is he's very scatterbrained and he has trouble focusing. Another is that yes,
hmm
he did pair Cyan Dog completely inappropriately, which I wasn't aware is like a big deal for the Medabot. Like they literally can't properly interface with the body when it's not built for it. So Cyan Dog misses everything almost all the time. Theoretically, if he just switched out his parts to give him like close combat, Cyan Dog would just start wrecking people, which doesn't make sense to me because like hitting something with an arm doesn't change based on the arm's shape. You can still do that. So I like I f-
yeah, but now it has better eyesight.
what?
It's like you're putting your brain into one body that has
Yeah.
nothing, that's been riddled with
Yeah.
diabetes, right? And then you decide to put the brain in something completely different, has no exposure to any of those things, brand
Hmm.
new body, has nothing wrong with it, and all of a sudden, oh, now I can actually hit you because I can see you and you're not some sort of
Yeah.
amorphous blob
Crosser
in front
Dog
of
is
me.
also a better frame. It is just a better body.
Oh, well, I was about to say, it's a better frame. It's still
Yeah, no
incompatible.
matter what, it's incompatible. But like, so there's things that, again, this was a kid's show, mostly meant as a gag show, so that was his one gag, and they just kept it going. But if I was trying to take a little bit deeper of a stab at it, I would have had him after he learned about like the compatibility of you picked the wrong metal for the wrong parts. I would have had him go like learn more about how the close combat ones work and either switch out parts or keep the shooting parts where they just you can teach him to shoot. It'll just take a lot longer and require a lot more practice compared to Metabee who can just do it naturally because he's built for it.
All right, so hang on. Now imagine Spike is going to buy this tin
Right.
pet. All right, he's buying all this shit. Where do you think he's getting it from?
Henry?
So why wouldn't we have something with Henry, who has taken a shine to some of these people? Why hasn't he given him some like free
Well,
advice?
there's this. Okay, given how they write Spike, real good chance that Spike didn't listen. And Henry was like, "Okay, I
Oh
guess that's
yeah,
what you're buying."
you could do
Sorry,
with that.
I don't want to be like, well, that's silly. It would just be the way they write Spike. That feels like the reason. Like that's literally just the reason.
Well, if it's either him or his cohort who's always
So
hungry.
the
Fat joke
other
ahoy!
thing, which is the weird subtopic to get into, Spike appears to be an only child who has a lot of money because he constantly has like extra parts for Cyandog, despite him being a again middle school age child. None of them have jobs, so it's
Yep,
like him having all of that, his family apparently is doing pretty well that he can just have like 9 Medabots but only one medal. So,
he's probably as rich as Karen if you think about
no,
it.
he's not. There is a very specific reason I am going to say that. She reminded all of us what her superpower is in one of these episodes.
Oh yeah, the power of
Yeah,
being
no,
rich.
none
Yeah,
of them
I
have
remember.
anywhere near the wealth of her. Even Koji is like, holy sh. That's insane. Even he's like,
Well, let's get
what am
into
I
that
watching? What am I
because
looking at right now?
episode 39, it's basically
Yep,
just a
it's the
cyan
one
dog
where
episode learning to become
it's,
crosser
yeah, and
dog
they're
at the
doing
very
the,
end.
oh, they are gonna reconcile at the end, so emotional, and and then the ninjas show up, and it's
Yeah.
supposed to be the reveal of the ninja team, and you're like, holy crap, they're bad, and then the next episode would be somewhere in the order that makes sense, where you actually see the ninjas. So theoretically,
You remember this flashback for something that we should have seen 20 episodes ago? Oh, wait, no, we're
I
15
would have
episodes in.
loved just small little dubism asides where they're like, crosser dog, wow, that looks really familiar. And then just that ninja. Wait, have I seen that before? And it's just like stupid stuff like that, where it's like they're acknowledging this is from 20 episodes ago, and it's like,
Instead, they just legit are like,
nope,
eh,
no, we're gonna play it straight. And Icky is going to look really weird when he's like, I've never seen those
help.
before. What's a crosser dog? And it's like, you live in a weird world,
So,
my friend.
so let's get into these. So 40 through 42, they all
Yeah.
kind of blend together. So I wouldn't mind if we
Going
just like
forward, it feels like we're getting that tournament
summarize it
arc,
all.
so we're essentially watching chunks of the tournament, which is fine, but they are gonna
Yeah.
bleed together pretty hard. It starts with the first episode is them like showing the teams off and being like, the tournament is happening.
Oh, and by the way, to talk about order once again,
Oh yeah,
so now we're on the dub portion where everything plays out straight to the
like
end.
after the Sandog Crosser Dog episode, which is again horribly out of order. It jumps to now we're just going
Yep.
to straight run to the end because they can't do these out of order because it will make them make no sense. You
Yep.
just can't.
So what's this episode called? This is episode 40.
Uh, this one was uh,
Let the meta
yeah,
games
it's
begin. That's
literally
right. I
just
didn't
let
write
the
it out
games
because I was
begin,
annoyed by the
which you
title.
called last week when you were like, oh, it's probably going to be the start of the tournament, and I was like, yeah, that makes sense. And then every other episode title is just related to like the opponent for that episode. So,
Yeah. And so first off, I want to
mhm.
say again, the World Row Battle Cup Photoshop. It's so
Look, man,
bad.
it was the 90s. This is a
Um,
hand-drawn show. It is nowhere near as easy to cover stuff up as it is now. Not that they bother, because they really don't anymore, but it was not easy.
there was
Okay.
high school clip art that looks better than that.
Eh. Uh,
It's
oh,
pretty
it
jarring.
is. It is very jarring.
Um,
It's very clear that it was edited.
in this one, the ref he is now going to be the head
Yes.
officiator. Their words,
Uh-huh.
officiator. At the global championships, but they're going to be introducing one new element to the
Hmm.
tournament, which you don't find out
Nope.
until near the end
But
of the
hold on.
episode.
Let's talk about that
Um,
scene real quick. So, the World Roll Battle, I assume it's WRA, World Roll Battle Association, which is a very generic name, but it makes sense. They're sitting in a room. All of these guys look sinister as fuck. There's a helicopter outside.
oh yeah,
They,
they all look like
yeah, they
fucking
look like
mafioso.
villains. And the referee's like, "Why are you adding this weird rule?" And then he's like, "Oh man, this feels weird." And they show all of them with sunglasses.
It cuts
And I'm
back,
like,
yeah, like almost like a little black and white
"So I think I
silhouette
know
thing.
what's going on. Do you want to take a crack at it?"
Rubber Robo Gang has
Gee, you
infested.
think? Everyone's wearing sunglasses, they all look evil and like they're really happy, and they added a rule where you steal the medal. Yeah, this is literally just the rubber robos took
Yeah,
over.
but Will, we're not kids.
No, and this definitely wasn't made for kids sometimes.
uh,
Uh,
Metabee trying to push Icky on an adult. Anyways,
uh,
yeah. So then you're introduced to all the different Metabot
yep,
country
which are all very
teams. The
stereotypical
first one
because
that you see is
that's how
Team
it works.
Mexico,
They did
which
Russia,
yeah.
they did.
Did you see what they did with Team
Yeah,
Siberia?
they just made them do the dance and have the hats on because, Russia, Siberia.
Okay, so they didn't go as far as I thought they would have because I had looked away at that second, but I thought it was them like
Well,
mushing
no,
butt
they did
hugs or
them
some
as
shit.
the traditional folk dance of the. I want to say it's the Cossacks. I might be wrong about that. I apologize if I'm incorrect. I know what it is, but for those of you who like musicals, it's that traditional folk dance where you're down on your feet and your knees and your legs go out.
Downward
No,
dog.
that's a different thing. This is the one from that scene in Fiddler on the Roof where they do that traditional dance with the glass on the head, and it looks really cool, and it's very, very neat. They did that because that's like the visual pop culture language for Russia, and then they gave him the fuzzy hats because Russia. Mexico is ponchos,
Yeah, that's about
sombreros,
right.
mustaches, and cactus-themed robots. Uh, Kenya is Victor, the number one ranked in the world. Their three bots are War Bandit, which we've already seen, and then the other two were themed to a,
Which I thought looked too much like
and then the other
Similon.
two are a Rhino and a Gorilla for robots. The two guys, the three of them are
Yeah,
dressed really
so that doesn't
generically.
scream Kenya at all, right?
Rhino, Gorilla, and I mean it screams like again really, really generic Africa because Kenya is the only African nation mentioned in the show because Victor's from there and
Yes.
they won. He's number one. They did show off that War Bandit is
Yes.
exceptionally good. Victor is very talented, but it's also
All right. Hey, so before we get into that, the whole point of this episode is basically just to introduce all the different teams that we're
yes,
supposed to see and who's
yes.
going to be the challengers. So what we have here for Japan, it's Ikki, Koji, and
Sometimes Space Metafighter X shows up. Sometimes.
no, it's always Space Metafighter X. Don't give it away.
It
That's
is.
so
It's also
stupid.
weird that
Um,
Henry would completely risk them just getting disqualified. And it's like, I kind of like, there's a part of me that gets, haha, it's funny. We're gonna play that game of kind of dragging it out, and then it'll be him for real when they have to actually like face someone. But at the same time, they literally
mhm,
just get disqualified. Like, you don't lose the match, you don't get a handicap, you just straight get booted from the tournament, which we now know also means you lose all the medals. Why the hell is Henry being stupid
yep.
right now? Like, dude, even the doctor is like, where the fuck is Henry? Even Dr.
Uh huh.
Aki is like,
He like
what the
straight
hell?
up just like craned
Uh-huh.
his
He's
neck and
like, dude,
everything.
where are you? Why are you not here?
Did you see who else was at the in the stands? I thought it was great.
No. Oh
The
yeah.
principal.
He is really into metafighting, so.
He was swinging
Oh
a
yeah,
flag and
yeah, he is.
everything.
He's full on like he's got a flag. He's super into it. He's right there and like talking back and forth to them. And yeah, no, he's really big into Medabots, so that makes sense.
So we get the fight, which I guess is supposed to be like a test
Exhibition
fight,
match.
and it still has that rule of where
If you lose,
if you lose, you end up
your
giving away
medals.
your medal. But this stipulation for this particular match is that even though none of the fights are going to be timed, this one was basically
Well,
timed
this
for
one was
1 minute.
timed because it's an exhibition. Exhibition matches tend to have special rules because they're not meant to be a real fight. They're meant to just show off and just make the crowd kind of get
Mm.
excited. It,
That explains Metabee blowing his load within the first second.
so they're playing real fast and loose with metaphors. They it's clearly tied to his emotional state. If he gets angry and mad, it
Mm-hmm.
happens like right away. So it's one of those like fighting spirit things where like it's tied to that and he can channel it. But also he has the exact same weakness now using it that he has always had because they just haven't bothered to train him at all. Probably because they're, 8 years old. And
You mean because the only person who has trained is fucking Koji to
yeah,
go
and even
against
Koji
him?
is crap because apparently Similidon is slower than Warbandit, who just straight up like DBZ jumps behind him.
Yep.
So
This is a bad show.
this is a
This is
wonderful
really
show. You will
bad.
treasure your childhood, sir.
No. I'm talking about their
Oh yeah, no,
show
their
of
show of Force was
Force.
absolutely terrible. They nearly lose, literally within like a moment of losing. The ref calls time, and victor literally goes, "Huh, saved by the bell." Yeah, I almost had all your stuff. You guys suck, and then he just walks away.
He's not
Yeah, no,
wrong. They
they're
really
awful.
do.
They got it also again, they are missing 1/3 of their team, who is the most experienced of all three of them, and who should be there.
And probably has like most, the
He doesn't.
strongest fucking Metabot
He
there.
can do the same things that Metabee can do and stuff, but the reason Henry is good is because Henry knows what the fuck he is doing. It's the same reason Warbandit is good, because they know what they're doing. Also, this is one of those times where I'm just going to call bullshit that you would have open like combat between adults with more years of experience than that child has lived against literal children who have like been fighting for 2 years but are still kids. Like, no, they would literally get stumped. It's why you don't have adults competing in youth leagues and sports. They would just lose. It's pointless. It's why we have weight classes. It's like the idea that this is a sporting event makes no sense. They do it like the Olympics, but when it comes to strategy, tactics, knowledge, the 8-year-olds are 9 times out of 10 just going to get wrecked by all of the adults who have spent more time, money, and energy than they can. So it's like, eh.
Nah, man, it's all about a kid who does IV EV training, and all about an adult with no life that does IV
Which is
EV
how
training.
Pokemon works. But remember, that's a lot more balanced than reality, which is what they fight in technically, because this is an anime and they technically are
Hmm.
fighting in real combat, not specific combat with a ton of rules making everyone equal. None of that exists here. So, no, they get stumped. War Bandit fights, literally, they don't even show the other two guys. They just stand there doing nothing, and War Bandit rocks them. They get just crushed.
Mind you, don't forget. So
Oh yeah,
we
their
alluded to
third
this.
player, which
Um, so
Mhm.
Space Meta Fighter X is in the arena.
Yes.
It's just that persona is being hosted by a completely
Do you
different
want to
individual.
just take a real quick moment? Do you want to say why Space Metafighter X was not Henry in this episode?
Because he was busy stealing people's
No, he was selling
hearts
pizzas.
with pizza. Yeah,
He's
that's what I'm saying.
he's
He's
just
stealing
making
people's
a
hearts with
buck
pizza.
out front selling merch.
Hey, and the next one, he's fucking doing the same
Yep,
things with the hot
he's just
dogs.
straight grind. He's on that grind, man. He really needs to pay for stuff. Not to his best friend or the dude he works for is Dr. Aki. His boss runs the Medagabot Corporation, but this guy's over here having to grind instead of representing his country. What the fuck is going on in this world?
I don't know, man. Politics is
It's
weird.
weird. It's weird, dude. I don't know. It's like Henry's an unpaid intern, and it's like, isn't he one of the best fighters in the
So,
world? Didn't he nearly win by himself when he was like 16?
speaking of unpaid interns, so the
Yep,
person who took his place got a phone call from
he
Space
did.
Matter Fighter X, who they also point out that it's the same as the
Yep.
Phantom Renegade.
Mm-hmm.
They go out of their way
100%.
of
They're like,
pointing
no, no,
that
they're the
out.
same person. They also point out, by the way, Phantom Renegade is a known criminal, so getting into the building might be hard, which is not true. Phantom Renegade gets into way more hard to break into stuff than that place. But it does make sense that he might not want to walk around because he is literally a criminal. But technically, if they ever see him, he should just
Right.
be arrested. I don't even know how he got into the tournament.
All he has to do is just double mask himself, man. He can do it harder
I
than
don't
COVID
just,
fucking did.
we all know that they're the same person, so how are they not just like, okay, Team Japan, you're going to have to switch him out?
Yeah, but they don't
No,
know that he's
nobody
actually
does, except for
Henry.
Dr. Aki, who's 100% aware.
But here's the thing. Apparently nobody
Node.
else knew. Yeah, because when this Space Meta Fighter X,
Yep,
also known as
yep.
Karen, comes down,
Nope, nope,
they
they're
don't seem to give
fully
a
on
shit.
board. They knew that the inflatables were not people, but they did not know that Space Metafighter X, represented by Karen, was A, Karen, and B, not
So
the
this also
original Space Metafighter who is like double her height.
this also brings up another question then. So when you
Hmm.
bring in a
Oh, that's a good
Medabot
question too.
to a
Yeah, we
tournament,
could probably bring that up.
are they like officially registered as the only
Apparently
one you can
not,
use?
because Arcbeetle would be the one he's registered with, and they haven't even shown Arcbeetle, and they're
Right.
totally fine with it. So they don't actually care either A, what matters more is the metal, and they don't care about parts because this is supposed to be fighting at the highest levels, so the assumption is you will be switching out parts, I guess, during the tournament. Um, but also, speaking
Hmm.
of that, the did you notice that the tournament itself takes place in the most boring arena possible when they have robots that turn into planes and can swim underwater?
All right. So obviously this brings us into the next episode. It weirded me out how we got this fucking setup for it, but I was
Yeah.
okay with it in a weird way.
It is very weird. This episode is leans, I think, pretty well into the goofy nature of the show.
And it's also getting to the point like once we got to this episode, I'm like, all right, that was interesting, but I don't really have any notes to write down. And then the last episode, I only wrote down three lines, and the last one says,
Hmm. Oh, the
this is
initial episode?
lunch."
Yeah, where
The
the
last one.
initial tournament episode.
Well, Pirates
Pixies.
and Pixies.
No, oh, so
That
you.
one's not the initial. I mean, no.
Yeah, I'm trying to
Sorry,
figure
I'm
out
getting
which
tired
episode
here. I'm
you're
trying to
talking
keep
about.
everything together.
The
I
last
don't
one,
like French
right?
Deception.
Okay, yes, you don't like the French guys with the
Yes.
mustaches and the
Right.
ability.
That's
No,
not
they're
the
the
initial
third
tournament
tournament
episode.
episode. They're round three.
Yes. There you go. You
My
threw
bad.
me off with things you were
But no,
saying.
this is the fun pirate episode, which is goofy and silly, but also kind of fun. Also, the robot designs. I don't know what the hell's going on with the two like first mates. They've got like purple shoes and they look kind of weird. But the pirate captain, the like blue pirate captain outfit on the robot, spot on. Very cool.
I
Yeah,
actually liked all the designs for this when it comes to either the pirates or to the actual Medabots
even the
themselves.
French one.
Everything felt unique,
All three
which
of
I
those
really,
robots
really
look unique.
dug.
I was impressed that they didn't just copy paste like one design for all three members of each of the country teams, because they'll generally do stuff like that to just save. They didn't. They gave,
You
yeah,
mean like they did with
Mexico's the only one
Mexico?
they did that for. They gave all three of the French ones a unique identity. I don't know why one of them looks really Chinese of some kind. It was weird. As like an opium reference or something. I don't understand. Like, what are we going for? What part of French history looks like that? It was the British who were in Hong Kong, so what are you referencing? Why does it look like that? But whatever. Also don't know
I
why
don't
the
know.
French episode French Deception, which I guess now I'm just going to talk about. I don't know why the French episode they could body shift down from full-grown adults to be the size of children. It just how the fuck does that work? Even for this show.
Oh, they also
hmm
molecularly
Yeah, they
changed
had.
their
Well, they could do
faces
the Mission
too.
Impossible
So,
thing where the mask is perfect and looks completely real.
oh, that's
Probably. That's
probably where they
probably
got that
where
idea
that came
from.
from.
Then,
This is the '90s. First Mission Impossible came out and was massive,
don't
which
forget
is
French
well, that's a
Deception.
French. That's a
Mission
reference to the
Impossible's
French
roughly the
Connection,
same
which is a
thing.
spy movie. But
I
the
know.
it yeah no, it makes no sense. Yeah, it makes no
It all
sense why
comes
they can
together now.
shift physically from being like 40-year-old men to 8-year-olds. That isn't how the human body works, but and this show has never shown that.
I'm
But
gonna need you to rephrase that. It
what?
just sounds weird the way you
40-year-old
just said
men
that.
turning into children?
How they shifted from 40-year-old men to into 8-year-olds. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
um,
You can't like as in you can put three raccoons in a trench coat, but you can't make a 7 foot tall man into a raccoon that's the same size as one raccoon. That's not how math works.
okay, there we go. I prefer
I
that
was just
compared to the other way
I'm
you
just
said
saying
it.
what the
That
show
was really
is.
bad.
It is three middle-aged men
Uh,
turning themselves into children and perfectly mimicking their voices and then switching back to oh when they need to sound evil. Literally. Oh, and you know the best part? You know the best
Croissant.
part? The
Gundam
hey,
Croissant.
don't you sass Rose Gundam like that. The 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 subtitle they were literally just says exclaims in French for some of the I don't even know what they said because it didn't write it down or even write a translation. It just said exclaims in French because like they would get surprised and they would just like say something in French and I'm like I don't know French. I don't know what he just said. And the subtitle just says like exclaims in French. I'm like,
That's actually
"Oh,
pretty
come
funny.
on. You're a subtitle. You couldn't like just write the word so I could go look it up later or like just write the translation of what the word is. Like, come on, man." It is because
That's
they also
actually
say it
legit
so
pretty funny.
fast that there's like it's really
Um,
hard to hear.
so all we know about this particular one is that Karen is
Oh,
incredibly
yes,
skilled with
she has a
money.
magic power. Going back to the pirate episode after that tangent on the French episode, the pirate episode, they are Caribbean, which makes sense. Pirates were in the Caribbean. Like, I get it. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I mean it
I
makes
wrote that
sense.
too, and I'm like,
Traditional
wow.
pop
All
culture
right.
pirates with the Jolly Roger and all that stuff, that's the Caribbean. That's literally what you're referencing. Yes, it happened off the coast of Europe and Africa, and it
Hmm.
still happens off the coast of China and South Seas and stuff like that. But that traditional old 14th century version or whatever, that's the Caribbean. That's what you're thinking of. That's where it comes from. And that's what they leaned into for this. You've got two dudes dressed in like generic Navy sailor outfits, one of them with a big belly, the other one doesn't. and then the pirate captain has no neck and looks like the man lifts heavy.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Right, so there's that. I also wrote down death
Eh?
by Robo Snoo Snoo because of Neutroners
Oh,
coming in to
just
save the day
being
by
really, just
giving
being
all of her
really
healing
nice
touch
and
to
being
everybody.
like, "Don't you want to not fight?" And they're like,
Yeah,
"Yeah, we don't want to fight," and then
and
they just get jumped.
and notice how all the fucking all the other adversary, all the other teams, they're just like, oh yeah, we'll
Yeah,
take
they
it.
literally
All right,
jump into the
stomp
air
on
and
them now.
step on the pirates. Oh, are we going to talk about the biggest plot point in
Um,
this episode, where it turns out that someone they think they're saving is actually taking notes on their biggest weaknesses to then turn around and give them to the captain?
oh, I forgot about that, but I do remember the follow up to that where somebody pops Karen's balloon, and then Koji goes, "Nobody pops
He just gets
Karen's
really
balloon
mad
like
because it was a
that."
gift from her, and he's like, "How dare you!" Both him and Icky both get mad.
I took it in a completely different
Oh,
direction, but I'm
Jesus
like,
Christ,
all
no.
right.
The I took,
I'm like,
well,
hey, he's defending some sort of honor.
Coconut, the daughter of the pirate captain who betrayed them by learning their weaknesses and feeding all the information to her father. Uh,
Which, by the way, that goes along with the theme
yeah,
too.
because
Fucking name is Coconut.
pirates and tropics. Of course, her name is Coconut.
I mean, he's just gonna name his son Rum.
That depends. Was his son planned? Because if not, he's probably going to be called Captain Morgan. He's just
Boo.
naming him after how he got there, okay? It's better than calling him Grey
Boo.
Goose.
All right.
So,
I wrote that down somewhere. I don't remember where.
yeah, no, that's what the episode is
Um.
them doing that, getting betrayed, and then this episode has Karen stand in.
Well, you know what the funny thing about the betrayal though? She really
No,
didn't have any good
it's
information other
it's
than the
literally
fact
just
that
which.
oh yeah, they don't like working
Oh,
together. Like I'm pretty sure
you
that could be
could
seen
you
on
could
any
walk
fucking
into the
camera.
arena, see them talk to each other for 2 minutes, and be like, "Wow, there's a lot of turmoil on that team." You don't have to try that hard. Like he's an adult, he can
Yeah,
perceive that.
so
Other children perceive that.
it,
No,
it was
that's
not
kind
that
of
much
like
of an
being
advantage.
so one of their robots is called Sumilodon, which is a beetle type, and it's like, yeah, no, I can see that. Thank you. I forget that my daughter is 6. So she thinks this is very useful to me, and it's adorable.
But the other thing about this is that Karen
Yeah.
actually knows how to take
Hmm.
charge when she's putting on a different personality, which is like granted, she knows how to do a lot of different things but with the power
Do
of
you
money because she
do you
has
want
that
to
really
say how
interesting
she used
personality where
the
she's super
superpower of money in
nice.
this episode? Because it is by far the most ridiculous so far in the show. So
I'm gonna let you
Karen
take it.
finds out that the captain, which I mean, I'm just gonna say it, it's a solid thing to just be a fan of. The man likes chocolate, like a lot. And that's not even like a bit that they did to like give an excuse as to why he was mad she stole the chocolate. No, he just apparently likes chocolate because during the match, he's chomping down on a chocolate bar during what is essentially the Olympics. This man is just chowing down on that thing. Yeah, he really likes chocolate,
He's
which
just going to town.
not gonna lie, chocolate's really good. I can. That's not a flaw. Nothing wrong with that. Anywho, he really likes chocolate. So Karen's idea is, hold on. Her explanation that they give is, my parents own the biggest delivery company in Japan. 30 seconds or it's free. 30 seconds or less or it's free. And a fucking fleet of like F-14 Tomcat jets fly out of a military base or somewhere and just dump coolers filled with chocolate onto the pirate captain to try and pay him off so that he'll stop chasing the girl, because at that point they thought that Coconut was fleeing him. So she just calls them, and this fleet of
Mm-hmm.
insanely expensive planes just fly over the city, dump a bunch of coolers with parachutes on them to just airdrop in supplies, and all of the supplies are super expensive fancy chocolate. It's insane. It's so wild.
Yeah, didn't they say that it was like
I
fucking
think she says it was German or
German
European
chocolate
or
or some
something. The
shit?
point is, it's supposed to be very high quality and Belgian chocolate. And she literally
Belgian.
says, by the way, you can keep the coolers as complimentary so that the chocolate doesn't melt. So she has so much money. And again, she does this with her phone, meaning that her parents don't care. She didn't have to run it by anyone. Nobody was like, "Are you sure we should be doing this?" They're just like, "Oh, that's what we're doing now. All right, boys, light the fires."
You think we don't see her parents because she's actually really not rich, but they're trying to maintain the idea that she is, and she keeps spending so
Yeah,
much money that they
like
have to keep on working
the
day in and
show
day out, and
ends
that's why
with
you don't see them at all.
Karen just walking off screen and her parents sitting in the background, like just looking horribly ragged and pale, and like another 38-hour day.
The show's gonna go from a gag anime into an
Hey man,
anti-capitalist
look,
anime.
it's not my fault they baked in economic messages where Icky is poor, can't afford one Medabot, fucking Spike has like nine, and the other characters can all just repair their bots like it's nothing. Fucking Eureka has piano lessons like it's normal, and also has a butler robot. It just, what the hell, man? I didn't write this show. Someone else did. I don't know what's going on in this world. It's wild. Oh.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Shit gets weird. I can't explain the last one at all because that one really annoyed me.
So
All I remember is
the
the
the last
people changing
episode
into
is the
other
French
people.
Deception. We've already talked partly about it, but the basic premise is the French team are going around stealing the medals out of the Medabots of the teams they come across because if you don't have the medal, you literally can't fight because, as they've established, the medal has all the programming. The medal is how everything moves. You could steal the body, they could just go get a new one. You could just throw them in a new tin pet. But if you have the metal, that has all the data. So now there's no way in a few hours they could train up a new Metabot. It's just not going to happen. And they don't do, the metals don't work like in our world where you have a chip where you can just copy files and have like backups. That's not how metals work. Metals are a lot more mysterious and a lot more. This is a 100% unique item. You can get another metal, but it will never be exactly the same. Just like with people, think of it like identical twins. You could have two humans who look the same, are really, really similar physically, but they're completely different people because they're both unique. That's how metals work. So they've been stealing the metals, which forces every team they come across to just forfeit, and they win by default, and they just keep moving forward. Plus, it gives them this massive stockpile of metals, and that's just what they've been doing. So, what they apparently can do, I don't fucking know how, they can perfectly transform their voice and their physical body from what they actually are, which is three middle aged men from France, into literally anything else. They can become taller, broader. They can turn into a perfect copy of Icky, who is 8 and like 2.5 feet tall, or 3 feet tall, and they can just perfectly mimic and turn into that. And then when they pull the mask off, they go back to whatever their original size was. Um,
There's
no,
also
and
no
no one
explanation
thinks
as
it's
to how
weird.
they
They're
can do
just
it
like, oh,
either.
that's
They
how
just
this
you
works.
just go with it.
I like this episode because I was like, that is really absurd. But I guess that's what we're going with. And I liked at the end how they played with it, where Phantom Renegade did it to them to reveal their what they did at the very end and get them in trouble with the refs, which immediately disqualified them and got them arrested. So that's basically the
Yep.
crux of the episode. That's the whole thing. It was fun seeing Phantom Renegade come in out of nowhere, be all Phantom Renegade and mess around. After the episode before with the pirates, he so that episode was the healing. This episode they didn't have Karen, they actually had Samantha. He was running around and he had to be Phantom Renegade to help out with the whole deceiving and dressing up and disguising. So he picked Samantha instead to go help the team as Space Metafighter X and to hold because they were still looking for their medals. So they needed someone to show up and essentially drag the time out so that they could find their medals, get to the arena, and actually try to fight them. And so you have Samantha dressed as Space Metafighter X. She actually does the pose, which good on her. And they all get really into the character and like just have their arms crossed and start talking like Space Metafighter X. They sound like a knockoff because I mean that they are, but it works. And so she doesn't actually get to fight because they get there and then a whole bunch of stuff goes down and the organization finds out that these three dudes have just been stealing and they're like, "Oh, cheating, are you?" And they literally just arrest them after Meta forces them in the face. And That's the whole episode is that.
Yep.
And then it ends, and you get a bunch of silly things said by the ref, where he's like, "Will they ever that? Will Icky ever like French fries again?" And just it's really silly French-based puns. And then the episode ends.
Does Henry
Yeah,
ever
something
get
like that.
tired
He
of so
says
many
something like,
jobs, or
"Will
how
he
many does
ever
he
get
actually
tired
have
of
some shit
having?
like
Will
that?
Henry ever have to, not have to have so many jobs and blah blah blah?" And so I think the next episode is going to be an actual like
Yeah,
real
it's
episode,
stupid.
and not these two were jokey. I think the next one's going to be real because I think Henry's actually going to show up and they're going to have to actually battle. Because the last two have been pure joke.
Well, that's a good segue. That's a very
Ooh, yeah,
good
let's see what
segue.
they're
So let's
called.
go into what these next four episodes are called. So 43 through 46, we've got
Okay, yeah, that
Space
one
Meta
sounded interesting.
Ballerina X.
Which episode was that? 43?
That's 43. My thought on it is that it's going to be
That's
another
disappointing.
person standing in for him. I'm trying to think of who would actually be
That would
a
be Samantha. I
ballerina,
think she was a ballerina.
and I can't think of it.
I I swear dancing
You
was
think she
somewhere in her
was?
backstory. They talk about it, and she doesn't like doing it because it's too not tough, and she's trying to be a gang leader or whatever. But and they showed her be
I could see
Space
that.
Metafighter
Okay.
X in French Deception. She just didn't get to fight. So I think that one's gonna be her, like actually
Right.
having to fight. And have her like
Her
with
chance to
Karen
come
actually
back.
participate in combat with them, and like they learn something. And the whole, I think what they're kind of going for, like meta narrative wise, is the boys learning like different styles of combat, different things you can do, leadership, and that's part of why Henry's not there. Yeah, he's doing those jobs, but he is trying to do the whole hands-off mentor thing where it forces them to adapt because realistically Koji and Ikki are not good enough to be in this tournament and win. So he is giving them essentially really torturous, horrible training because he has to, because he's like they literally aren't prepared. Like they would have to be me to even stand a chance against some of these meta fighting teams, and they're not. So I have to turn them into me as fast as possible, which means basically borderline getting them disqualified in every fight to force them to adapt, hopefully. And if they don't, then we lose, but we would have lost anyway. And I mean, he's Phantom Renegade. He would just go steal their medals. He could just take them back. But, um,
Well, considering how realistic you went with that approach, I guess I'm gonna go
ooh,
the opposite route. Make it absurd as fuck. I'm gonna
what?
say they're gonna take a page from Evangelion, and they're gonna have it to where either Samantha or Karen have to teach each other how to do specific moves in order to defeat the next Metabot, and they
So
have to
you
do it in
think
time
both
to a
Samantha
specific
and Karen
song,
will be
or
involved,
else
even though only one of them will be Space Meta Fighter X?
I have a
Hmm.
I have a
All
feeling.
right.
Yes.
All right.
Next one, 44.
Ooh,
Swede and sour.
Sweden.
Swede, as in, like, oh, it's the
Mm,
Swedes.
like the Swedish chef. Poppity corn to
Burger, burger,
chicken.
burger. Yeah.
Poppity corn to shrimp. There it is.
So, this is definitely going to be lots
Oh,
of
oh
European
yeah.
puns. And it's going to be heavily food involved. I'm betting we're going to see that girl who lusted after Icky because
Oh,
he
the
was very
octopus
direct
balls.
regarding his food order
You
for
think
the
she's coming
octopus
back in that
balls.
episode?
Yeah, I have a feeling she
Hmm.
will be back, but I don't think
Well,
she will
I mean,
be
she can't be
involved
because
in the
she
fight
can't.
whatsoever. I have
She
a
was
feeling
in
she'll be back
Japan.
though.
She would represent Japan, so she literally can't. The only three
Yeah,
people who can represent the country are Ikki, Koji, and whoever happens to wear the costume of the third person.
motherfucker, don't, just motherfucker.
The sweet and
But what
sour,
do you
I would
think?
say yes. It'll probably be a, not even for the Muppets reference, it'll be a Swedish chef, and it'll be a cooking related Metabot, and like the episode will be somehow food related. I'm waiting. We haven't had a food Metabot episode really, and I kind of want one. I kind of want like a chef
God damn it! I was
Metabot.
just thinking that while you were talking about it. Like,
Yep.
imagine one
And
just
he
coming in
just
with,
like,
have some
and he's
flapjacks,
just
and
yelling into
just
the
throws
Meta
that
Watch,
giant fucking
flip him, and he
biscuit.
just like slaps him with a spatula. I just I like how
God,
silly
that would
they
be
are
awesome.
with the Metabot designs, and there's a part of me that's like, how have we not had a chef episode?
Don't
We
forget
had an
fucking
episode
Gravity
with
Bear.
a fucking teddy bear with black hole with like gravity generators and a black hole gun, And then you're not going to give me silly chef food episode. Come on, man. I don't know.
Maybe it'll be in spirits. I don't know. 45
No,
Futures
this is going to be a.
Past. Ooh, this sounds like a Rokusho
He was
episode.
in the audience. They showed him standing in the stands. That's why they call him that. They showed him standing, and he was just there in his cloak.
I'm gonna
None
let you
of them are
have
getting
all three
bleeped.
of
Yeah.
those.
The they showed him there, so he's aware of the tournament. He's watching the tournament, um, probably just because he's interested and to see, Metabee and them like fight and stuff. But futures past, you think Rakusho? I think this is just going to be, since the other ones maybe not. I think this might be the first like serious one. Like maybe we'll get actual backstory on Space Meta Fighter X. Like maybe they'll legitimately reveal who it is, and they'll talk about the last tournament where he was like a monster and really, really good, and everyone will be like, "Holy crap, that's who that is!" And they'll all get like super impressed.
Well, interesting that you
Uh-oh.
mentioned that because the next episode, 46, which is the last of our bunch, the Metaforce Within,
Hmm. You
kind of basically
Yes,
just takes away what
but
you
I
just
could see
said.
this one focused more on Metabee, and maybe for the first time in the show, we get a legitimate explanation of what the Metaforce like is, how it really works, and how the characters keep bumping into it. Because Rakusho can pretty reliably use it, he chooses. Metabee stumbles into it. And he has no idea how it works. Like they keep showing him being like, "How did I do what now?" and just being confused but tired. And then Rakusho gets to actually pick, I am going to use Metaforce now, and then he does. So maybe that episode will actually give Metabee some control or some insight where he gets to like remember what happened, know what he was doing, how it occurred, and then they like truly get to train it.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry.
Oh no.
We've got some breaking news, everyone. This is not Mecha related, but it is Mecha adjacent based on certain studios involved. But we are getting Star Wars Vision Season 3. We are getting The Ninth Jedi as its own season. We are getting a KOTOR movie that is in the works.
Hell's the
That is
Ninth
all.
Jedi? What?
Dude, you don't remember Ninth? Okay. We'll talk more about that
Breaking
once we
news! What the fuck
get
is
off this
that?
podcast. Everyone, if you can, please definitely watch Star Wars Visions. They actually
Oh,
do have a few episodes in there
speaking
that are mecha adjacent. One of them is
Okay,
like an
yeah. And speaking of that,
Astro
Love,
Boy
Death, and
planet.
Robots on
So,
Netflix, completely solid watch. Really cool. Just for animation, science fiction ideas, definitely give that a shot and watch those. They're not all purely robot, but they are very cool. So,
absolutely. I haven't watched them yet, but I did watch their Amazon Prime show
Secret
that they
Level
did.
is, Secret Level is pretty
Secret
good. The
Level, which is
episodes are
great.
wildly different from each other because they're all random, but yeah.
All right, the
Oh,
only one that absolutely
wow.
sucked
Dang,
was the
Sean.
PlayStation one.
Is it because it's just one giant ad?
Yeah.
Disappointing.
That's all it was a giant ad, and it didn't even float into each other correctly.
Yeah.
But that's besides the point. Will, take us
Did
home
you
from me here.
enjoy these episodes? Did you enjoy yourself?
Those are very loaded
So that's a
questions. I don't
yes.
know if I can answer them
Anyways,
at the same time.
I will see you next week on our future episode of Big Mecha, but not huge. Good night, everyone.
Good night, y'all. Take care now. Bye bye then.
So creepy.